Hey everybody, it's Bruno. Here's my new episode of MB. Be my next guest on MB by clicking on the link below and we'll contact you. So listen, enjoy the episode.
That's right. What's up, you sucker? That's right. What's up, you sucker?
All right, hey everybody, it's Bruno from MB, and super excited as usual to have an amazing guest. I have Lisa Elle from Ellements Financial Group. Lisa, welcome to the madness.
Thanks so much, Bruno. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, well, yay. I'm the one that thanks you because I know you're super busy and you're kicking assets all over the place. And but you know what, like our little thumbnail at the beginning, we don't like to mess around with our viewers. You know, you're saying 3 top financial essentials for your future. So let's not kind of wait around. Number 1.
Okay, number 1.
And I got to take notes. Okay, number 1.
Yes, you absolutely need to take notes. And I think this is so important with what's gone on this last year. Even more so, this is brought to the forefront of what's happening, but you need to create an estate plan. Now, you have an estate if you own anything. So if you own anything or plan to own anything in the future, you have an estate. And that means you need to determine what is going to happen when you pass away. And unfortunately, this is more of a when than an if. We all know this is the path we are on. It's so important to make sure that we are telling our loved ones, and even more so when we have a business that we are owning, that we need to direct those things so we can keep people employed in our businesses, or we can tell our loved ones exactly what to do and how to distribute our assets. So creating a will and getting your will, your personal directive, your enduring power of attorney, all these documents in place to really just help that. So that's all part of what I call getting your estate plan in place and knowing, you know, like we talk about so many times, you've heard it, Stephen Covey, you know, begin with the end in mind, all these types of things. This is so important. And it's all part of building your legacy. And I mean, why else are you doing everything? You know, what is your why? It's connecting back to that and really making a plan for it. So I think that's the first place to start, is begin with the end in mind.
Well, that's a bummer. I had to work all these years and have interviews with you and leave it all behind. Okay, well, I was kind of expecting something different, but
wow.
I am just joking on that. But you know, it's necessary. Without a plan, you can't get it done. So you know, for those of you know, those who are kind of listening to this, who are many, by the way. How much does it cost? Who do they go talk to? Do they have to go see a lawyer, an attorney? What do they have to do?
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
Do they come to you?
Yeah, so we do have, as part of my team, we have kind of a full financial planning firm here. So we do actually have some of those documents that you can work with our team on that. But typically, yes, you can go to a lawyer. You know, something in place is sometimes better than nothing in place. So even if you don't have the funds available right now, even getting a simple will kit, not preferable, but it can be done. Because even in Alberta right now, a holographic will is still considered valid, meaning, you know, a handwritten piece of paper that you draw up is still technically valid in Alberta. So this can be done on the cheap, and it can be done professionally. So I do recommend, obviously, the professional route, but it is important just to get your ducks in a row because, and this kind of leads into number 2, but like, if you don't have these things in place, the biggest beneficiary of your estate might be the CRA, and that might not be who you want to leave a majority of your wealth to. So,
well, I mean, they need the money these days. So you'll get a tax receipt in heaven. So the other thing I wanted to ask is, and I'm not sure if you want to touch on this, but you know, let's say you live in Canada in one of the provinces, right? And you own property or something in the US and pick a state, California. Will that, in your experience, will the state cover it, or what should we do?
Well, you can actually get wills in different jurisdictions. And that's where you need to, if you have property, especially in the United States, it gets very complicated and you really need to consult, cross-border tax accountants and lawyers. So important. And yes, you're going to start paying a pretty penny for that, but it's well worth it. The US has very, very different estate laws than we do here in Canada, and taxes upon death and whatnot. So you need to really, really consult with a professional in that situation, because it has been known to take many by surprise when they pass away and there's a heavy tax bill, especially coming out of the USA. So,
and I'm sure you have a ton of stories that are great and a ton of stories that are bad, but without that, the will, without your estate plan, you're right, it goes right to our friends in Ottawa, who, by the way, I'm from Ottawa, but when they say it goes to Ottawa, none of us get it, or none of my friends in Ottawa get it. But yeah, it is the cleaner it is, the better it is for your pupils. Now, I want to know a little bit more about Ellements Financial Group, because I didn't realize you had some people that could help out with, say, the estate and other things. What else do you guys do?
So we try to be a full service financial planning firm. I'm really trying to create kind of that family office scenario where you've got the, in-house accountants, in-house, estate planning team, financial, like investments, insurance, all of it in a one-stop shop. So that's what I'm trying to create in a very independent kind of a situation. So that's what we do, and that's what we've been doing for 20 years. And I am located in Calgary. I actually live out in Cochrane, but we do service all of Alberta and BC. So it's I know a lot of our clients really like just having it all in one place and, kind of one place to turn to. And it's great too when you have financial questions that you need answered, and it all kind of overlaps, right? Your tax questions overlap with your investment questions, overlap with your estate planning. So it's all connected, and so it's great to just have that that team approach to building wealth, and for our clients, they find it very beneficial.
And I know something about you a little bit, is, boy, oh boy, if you don't know something, you refer somebody, don't you? So you have a pretty deep referral network, don't you?
Absolutely, I do. Because I definitely do not claim to know everything. I like to pretend sometimes, but you know what? There's so many situations, and let's face it, everyone is so different, that we absolutely need to have referrals out for every time. I sometimes find, even 20 years later, scenarios still come up that shock me. And I'm like, oh, I've never dealt with that before. So there's always something out there where we're referring to a lot of different services, for sure.
Yeah, you know what? Somebody once told me that there are two professions that see you completely naked, is a doctor and your financial planner. So unfortunately, sometimes it goes sideways, and you kind of have to disclose all the craziness you've been doing. So yeah, in terms of not knowing everything, I do know something about you too, is that you wrote kind of a cool book called Strut, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically how to kick your financial assets, right? So, well, you know what? Tell us a little bit about that. And what I do once in a while is I'll buy a book when we can see each other, and I'll raffle it off to one of our viewers. But essentially, what can we find in kicking how to kick your financial assets, right?
You got it. So first of all, what I did was I wrote this book for women because I wanted something fun, and it's Canadian content, which is, more rare when you're in a bookstore. A lot of it's American content for financial planning. So that's the first thing, it's Canadian. The second thing is I had to make it fun for women, because most women, and even my friends and family, they kind of roll their eyes when we talk about money or financial planning or taxes or any of the like. So I had to make it fun. So what I did was I related this book, and every chapter is a different pair of shoes. So I related it to a shoe closet. And I'm like, women love shoes. And so every topic is a different pair of shoes. So it's fun, and we talk about everything in the book. It's kind of a full financial planning book with a lot of great gems for life advice and whatnot, but it's kind of that full financial planning book.
So if I know you well, and it's based on every chapter's a set of shoes, there's about 17,000 chapters in there.
Yes. No, I only have 176 pairs of shoes, so there's over 176 chapters.
I guess a lot of us men will wait till the movie comes out. We're not going to read 17. No, but that's a great way to look at things. Is that because you have different things for different parts of your life, and the other thing I wanted to let people know is that you actually have a podcast, and the podcast is Money Makeover.
You got it. Yeah. So the Money Makeover podcast is a weekly show that I do, just really short, quick, 5-10 minute episodes, just imparting a little bit of wisdom for my listeners, because they can listen. I mean, now we're not driving as much as we used to be, and I know now it's dead of winter in Calgary, but I love listening to podcasts when I'm walking or driving my car. And again, I'm not doing too much of that these days, but it's great. So it's just another avenue for people to listen in to get some quick financial tips.
Oh, you'll listen to this one on your next walk, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, those are things that you do over and above for your clients, for, other clients, because I know that people creep on you and listen to your stuff, and they have other financial planners. We covered number one, which is create your estate, your estate plan. Number two.
Hey, while we're here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be able to receive our newest updates. Hope you enjoy the rest of the episode.
Okay, number two. Number two is you'll want to find yourself a good, holistic, independent, designated financial planner. And what I mean by that is you want to have someone who is, it's kind of like the captain of the ship. I liken us financial planners to the captain of the ship, because we're going to pull in all the different, people that we need on the team, like lawyers, accountants, lenders, mortgage brokers, insurance agents, stockbrokers, like you name it. We're going to pull in and tie all these things together. And we're going to give that holistic, that whole picture, that down view, of the whole thing, of all the things that are going on. Whereas a lot of the other specialties are just managing one part. I really think this is so important to build a relationship with an independent financial planner. And I say designated. So if they have like a CFP designation, certified financial planner, there are a ton of financial designations out there. You can research them all, but basically just making sure they're qualified, making sure they're independent. Either they're doing fee for service, or they have no quotas over their heads. So they're more of a fiduciary trying to do the best job they can for you to help with your goals. I think is so important. Build a long-term relationship. So what's happening right now in our society is we are so transactionally based. And it's just, you go and do your quick transaction. So you run to the bank on March 1st to do your RSP. You run on April 30th, to H&R Block to do your taxes. We're just so transaction oriented, right? So what you want is a relationship, because when you walk into a bank, as an example, and they're asking you, and you're sitting with a financial planner or a financial advisor at the bank, you're typically not, you don't have time in 1 hour to really get to know someone and to really, do the follow-ups and all those kind of things. When you create a relationship, they know all about your family life. They know about that brother-in-law or that father-in-law or mother-in-law. They know about your job history. They know all about your health history and how that plays into your finances. So there's so much in your life that if you can create a relationship with someone, it's going to benefit you, because then you're not having to re-explain yourself every time you walk into an institution or a bank. And you can have, again, everything centralized in that one place. So we can really work together as a team to help you accomplish your goals. And I love doing this when I'm with my clients anyways. Their whole financial plan is driven from their goals. So whatever goals you're setting for yourself, that is how the plan gets put together, is based on what you want. It's not what I'm telling you to do. And, so that's why I just love and always say to people, find a good financial planner and build a relationship with them and keep them in your pocket for like the rest of your life. And they will be a huge asset for you. Regardless, whatever bill you pay for them, they're going to multiply your wealth in so many ways that a lot of people don't even know they can really, truly multiply your wealth. So
this is kind of my show, and it's called AndB, and it can't all be serious, right? So, and I prepped you for this, and you're ready for a stupid story. I'll tell you something, because as soon as you start bringing banks and relationships and all that kind of stuff, I cringe. And I think we've had one or two conversations, I think, about my view on the financial market, being a fiduciary. I so believe in that for whatever it's worth, but yeah, you got to laugh at the banks. Like, you got to really, you know what? I don't really care about likes or dislikes on this channel, because I got to tell you, I go into a bank these days and you get stopped by the security guard, right? You talk about relationships, right? Now, get it. There's a security guard that stops you before you go into the bank and they go, "Can I get your name?" And sometimes it's a bank person there. I don't know. But they look like security people, and they go, "What's your name?" And I tell them, my name is Bruno. Well, most of the time I don't even give them my real name. It's Raul from Chihuahua, Mexico. Like, and then they go, "Okay, so what is your purpose here?" I go, "Well, I'm buying bread and eggs. What do you think I'm at the bank for?" Right? And then secondly goes, "No, but we just want to make sure that you can either go, this place or that, the automatic teller or this teller." And I'm like, "Well, I just have to talk to the teller." Like, it's very rare that you talk to a teller these days, but you have to do a US transaction or something. And he goes, "Well, based on my experience," and I'm like, "Hold on a second. When did the security guard become my financial planner?" Right? He's deciding, or she's deciding, which place I go talk to, right? I give you a fake name and everything. So anyways, I give them my real name. And then you go to the level 2 where the lady or the man standing at the, "Excuse me, what's your name?" They check if you have an appointment. And then I can't even make this up. I get to the teller and I was just cashing a US check for my son's scholarship thing. And the guy goes, "You know what? Have you thought of your RSPs this year?" I'm like, "No, I think I'm good." "Well, you know what? We have a GIC for sale." "Oh, good. He's upselling me, right? Great stuff." Jackie would be proud of us. Jackie Rainforth, the
Jackie.
journey person. We love her. Give her a little plug here. So anyways, I'm kind of like, "No, I just need this thing." And he goes, "You know what, boss?" I quote, "You know what, boss? This is a stale dated check or something." I go, "No, it's under 6 months." "Boss, listen." And I finally go, "Listen, the security guy took my name, the lady took my name, this other guy took my name, and you're calling me boss." Right? Like, clearly you got the wrong guy, chief. So anyways, I mean, I'm just not comfortable. Now, there are a lot of great banker guys and girls out there, but it takes time, because this guy's trying to sell me a GIC or selling me an RSP. Like, how does he even know I need an RSP?
Exactly. And I think, like, there's a lot of good people working at the banks. It's not the people in the banks, it's the culture, it's the way the system has been set up that I think is where the problem lies. I wrote a great article for the Huffington Post called "Are You Treating Your Investments Like a One-Night Stand?" And I basically was talking about how it's so transactional, and it's like you go once a year for your quickie at the bank and then you're out of there. And that's kind of like how it is with your taxes.
Don't worry about that.
But that's how it is with your taxes, with everything. It's just, you're doing them once and you're not really even like doing planning around it and how to, like, say, reduce your tax bill or anything like that. So,
well, let's get to 3.
Okay, number 3 for financial future essentials is risk management. Now, never before in history have we actually realized this is important. I kind of laugh because I've been preaching this for 20 years and no one ever took me seriously, like, "Oh, that will never happen." And then it happened. And now people are like, "Oh yeah, so now I need to go back to doing the basics of, like, this is all the basic stuff to financial planning." But I'm sitting with clients. I'm sitting with clients in Calgary, right? They have huge pensions. They got lots of assets, but they're missing some of these financial basics, everything from having a relationship with a certified financial planner or an estate plan. But they don't even have risk management in place because, they're just following along, making good money and not really worrying about the rainy day that might happen. And the rainy day is here. And in fact, it's now a torrential downpour. And I don't know when the rain is going away, kind of a thing, right? So going into risk management, what does that mean? So that means everything from what happens if you get one of the Ds, which are, death, disability, divorce, disagreements. I say drugs as in medications and
Sure.
having to pay for medical expenses. So what if those things happen to you? And that's where all the cost is. So risk management is making sure, you know, if you and your business partner have a disagreement or death or disability, like, do you guys have a buy-sell agreement in place? You know, with if you got diagnosed with cancer, heart attack, stroke, do you have critical illness in place? If you got hit by a bus, do you have disability insurance in place? Like, how are you mitigating the risk, you know, in your financial plan, and you got to start treating your family, you got to start treating your household like a business, really. Like, you're the CEO of You Inc. and you need to start treating that like a business, the same way a business would look at its profit and loss statements. And you need to like really kind of hone in on that and kind of see, okay, where are the gaps that I'm exposed if something happens? So I think just basic risk management, life insurance, critical illness, disability, extended health plans. If you have a corporation, make sure you've got a health spending account. All these things are so important just to make sure that when something happens to you and you can react to it from a place of financial strength instead of a place from financial weakness almost. So
I like the D's, because coming from an Italian background, you know, like the Italian parents always tell the daughter, don't marry the wrong guy. So because that's a big D. That'll set you back, right? Or the wrong girl, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, in Italian, it's the wronga girl or wronga. You know, they put an A there, but you know, I think that I want to remind everybody that right down here, we have the link to your book, Strut. I love the cover. Can you show the cover again? That's a really good cover.
It's fun. So actually, this is supposed to be like a $ here.
I got it.
You got it? Okay. Yeah, through the heel. There you go.
That's good. That's good. And your podcast, Money Makeover, we have the link here, and your website is down here. And, you know, this is really good. So I want to recap. Number one, create a estate plan. Number two, really get an independent financial planner, kind of a fiduciary, right? That's the term they use in the US.
Yes.
Do they use it out here, or is it official?
They use it out here. It's not as, you know, Canada's just different in so many ways, but yeah, it's not like a mainstream word I would say we use here, but yes, the States, they do for sure.
Yeah. And number three, risk management. So watch out the D's, right? You have to watch out the D's.
Gotta watch out for those D's.
Well, you know what? That's pretty much all the time we have for this episode today. Thank you for tuning in with us. And you know what? Make sure you subscribe to our MegaPixx media channel so you will never miss an episode. And also, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram. We have content almost every day. So thank you very much for joining us. I'll see you guys soon.